And sometimes it may just be unenforceable, right? You know,
Or not worth it.
right? Or not yet.
And the app, if the person elects never returns to town,
Exactly.
I'm pretty much okay with that solution too. No, I'm serious. And if it's some college student from Maryland who's up to Keene State for a weekend to party and get arrested over there at Pumpkin Fest, say don't come back through here, I'm okay with it. And if there's 350 reasons for them not to come through town again, that's money, non-money well spent, if you get my meaning.
So basically, if the fine when would they pay it? I mean, how would you go after someone like that, or you just don't even care?
The court will do that for us with ordinances.
That's how they did the
Cheshire County Superior Court will collect for us.
Okay.
They'll take a piece, of course, but they will do the work and use the sheriff's office.
If they're from out of town or something like that.
That's what happened.
So the law arm of the law.
So very, very
Not going to
long.
get extradited for it, but.
So my next question.
We just want to expedite that.
My next question to that is, they will enforce our town ordinance that's contrary to their law.
Well, that would be an interesting situation.
I guess what I heard was happening is that some of the judges aren't.
Right.
Because we only made, when they had those 18 kids up at the Allen line that time, I think I saw maybe
200.
200.
Kids.
I don't care who did it.
So anyway.
But we only got paid by 2 of them.
Right. So we're going to have that too. We're going to have judges that absolutely don't agree with us.
Right.
But we're doing a town ordinance, and
Right.
there's other. I can tell you, Judge Burke, I have heard, is not a fan of marijuana paraphernalia ordinances. In other words, he doesn't want to see them come through his courtroom because he feels that they should all be charged
Yeah.
a year in jail and $2,000. I can't change that. You know, that is just what it is. So
Don't go to Judge Burke.
I think it would be insane for me to come here and say this will solve all our problems and it will work perfectly in every situation. It won't. Of course it won't. But maybe it is one more tool in the toolbox.
We have been using the paraphernalia ordinance.
Yes.
It's a 20-year experiment with a human life to see if it's actually having an effect, but it has been implemented as an alternative to the criminal justice system through Cheshire County.
And monies have been collected.
It's true.
And I don't know if anybody knows what to do with those monies.
They
Don't
go right
like
into the general fund because they have to.
Right.
That's why I said, when we get to that last one, there's a
We'll
lot.
figure it out. Bobby.
So if you're not charged and you're just fined, does that mean it would not go on public record?
Correct.
That is correct. That's the intention.
Even if it had to go to the court to get it collected, it would not be on record where somebody could look up a young person or something?
all court cases technically.
I think if it ever got into any aspect of the court system for collection or anything like that,
I think that just strengthens the tool.
yeah, exactly. That proves our point. Take care of it here locally. Don't put it off. Take your licks. Learn something from it.
So are you offering anything for the older generation, over 21?
Are you looking for a senior citizen discount?
There's a bunch of people in the room qualified.
If you show your AARP card.
You get a discount on the fund.
Exactly.
If you're over 65.
If it's before 5 p.m.
Well, why would we be out after 5
Well, to be honest with you, there's probably not people in town that are from my generation
Sure.
that believe that a little bit of marijuana does not hurt anything. They
Right.
might be willing to pay the $100 fine.
I think they would. And then, you know where that money goes?
And they will.
Right. And where does that money go? That money, if we can work out the financials, would go into the pot to help pay for drug education in our schools and pay for these programs that we need to supplement what they pay. That's
I don't
real
think we
plan.
should really, well, and I'm not from here, so I shouldn't say anything.
But
But
you
not
are on the
just,
school board.
I don't think you should just, the school does do some stuff.
Agreed.
But it should be outside of the school too, if it can be.
Why not?
There's nothing in here that prevents that.
Yeah.
I have 2 school resource officers with whom I have spoken in the last 4 months.
Yeah.
Both believe that the school's efforts are inadequate, not because the people are bad or lazy, but because of funding.
Right.
And DARE was an okay program. We were glad to have it as long as somebody else was paying for
Right.
it. But I was on the school board then, we were absolutely unwilling to pay for it ourselves,
Right.
locally. Here we are.
There or nothing?
Coincidence and causation are different.
So I'm gonna go ahead and read another section here.
Hey, ahead of time.
Stay outside.
We don't pick off the shop. The 15th fine is free.
All right, we got bogged down in section B, and we're gonna come up with reducing this because, we'll take another look at it and see if we can reduce that per Gordon's request. But then C says, as used herein, possession, this is defining, possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana includes possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana, or any mixture of or preparation thereof, including but not limited to 5 grams or less of hashish, and does not include the weight of other ingredients in marijuana prepared for consumption as food or drink. And this goes to edibles, brownies, yeah.
Brownies.
Well, it's a real thing. I'll give you an example. The example, and does anybody know the name of the lady from Alstead who had to go to Maine to get medical marijuana?
Linda Moore.
And she died now, didn't she?
Yeah.
She did pass away, but part of what she got, I believe, was edibles.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So there's an example of, okay, if the police were following the letter of the law and they pulled over or had to go to her house for some reason, they would have to charge her a year in jail and $2,000 fine. Whether it's edibles or whether it's regular marijuana. So let me continue. Possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana includes possession of paraphernalia for the ingestion, use, inhalation, preparation, or storage of marijuana for personal use. And this is somewhat redundant to our other ordinance, but I didn't really feel like we could get into trying to blend the two, or maybe we could do away with the other ordinance.
Yeah, I think this would.
This would probably sit, yeah. Okay, D. Nothing contained herein shall be construed to repeal or modify any law concerning the medical use of marijuana or tetrahydrocannabinol in any other form, such as Marinol, or the possession of more than 1 ounce of marijuana, or selling, manufacturing, or trafficking in marijuana. So this is where it goes specifically to say, on the one hand, if somebody has it for medical use, and we are getting really close to that in this state. This is supposed to be implemented spring of this year, by summer of this year.
Well, they're like,
She did
Linda,
get it.
she-
She
Well,
did
then
get
approved
it.
you could get
yeah,
it.
yeah, she forced the hand of HHS to start handing out the cards.
Right.
But you're talking about the dispensary.
Yeah, dispensaries and all that stuff's gonna be up and running here soon. It doesn't do anything with that. And it also doesn't do anything regarding laws that currently exist if you are selling, manufacturing, or trafficking in. So this goes to the point about dealing.
So now, that ounce of marijuana, if it was in individual bags as opposed to one ounce bag, would that be construed as with intent to distribute as opposed to you just had
You order the officer, I'd imagine.
That would be unanswerable by us, and that would be the officer's best judgment. Yeah. But I know what you're saying. E, nothing contained herein shall prohibit the town from enacting ordinances or bylaws regulating or prohibiting the consumption of marijuana or tetrahydrocannabinol in public places, or providing for additional penalties for the public use of marijuana, provided that no such additional penalties are no greater than those related to the public consumption of alcohol. We do have an ordinance that addresses the public consumption of alcohol, correct? We passed that last year.
You could just amend that and stick marijuana in there.
And that's
Along with alcohol.
Yeah, that's $100 fine on that one as well. violation of this chapter shall be considered a violation of parole or probation.
Well, that's another one. Does the town have any supervised people for parole or probation at all?
We do,
Oh, you did?
Yes. And
and we probably always will. And so I wouldn't, my personal preference would be to enact enough of this so that a minor sub-ounce possession of marijuana didn't trigger the immediate reincarceration that a major parole violation would.
Oh, no, yeah, I totally agree. I just didn't know if the town, if there was a function of the town.
I asked that same thing, and I didn't realize we did, but we do. G, any person in possession of an identification card, license, or other form of identification issued by the state or any state, city or town, or any college or university, who fails to produce the same upon request of a police officer, who informs the person that he or she has been found in possession of what appears to be, to the officer, to be an ounce or less of marijuana, or any person without any such forms of identification, who fails or refuses to truthfully provide his or her name, address, and date of birth to a police officer, who has informed such person that the officer intends to provide such individual with a citation for possession of an ounce or less of marijuana, may be arrested and charged under New Hampshire state law. And that, it comes from model legislation.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous run-on sentence.
That's like making sausage, but if,
But I did it without taking a breath.
Maybe to me it sounds like play nice or we'll jam you.
Well, it says you have an obligation to say who you are, and what does
There
vary.
is give a fake name, skip town, you know.
Yeah. And where this, if a person's on foot, they have no requirement to provide identification unless they've been observed committing a crime, or the police have a high level of suspicion.
Reasonable articulable suspicion.
There we go. That they have committed a crime. If a person is suspected to holding an ounce or less of marijuana, under New Hampshire law, that is a crime, so I don't think this is in, I was trying to figure out if that was contradictory to that, but I don't think it is.
So if they're standing underneath a street light or something, they don't have to give